Books presents an unabridged recording of The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, narrated by Nick Landrum, and directed by Ian McCulloch. This book is copyrighted 1993 by Jeffrey Eugenides. This recording is copyrighted 2006 by Recorded Books. Let us take you back to the elm-lined streets of suburbia in the 70s and introduce you to the men whose lives were forever changed by their fierce, awkward obsession with 5 doomed sisters. And now, the Virgin Suicides.
Chapter 1. On the morning the last Lisbon daughter took her turn at suicide, it was Mary this time, and sleeping pills, like Therese. The 2 paramedics arrived at the house knowing exactly where the knife drawer was, and the gas oven, and the beam in the basement from which it was possible to tie a rope. They got out of the EMS truck, as usual, moving much too slowly, in our opinion, and the fat one said under his breath, "This ain't TV, folks. This is how fast we go." He was carrying the heavy respirator and cardiac unit past the bushes that had grown monstrous, and over the erupting lawn, tame and immaculate 13 months earlier when the trouble began. Cecilia, the youngest, only 13, had gone first, slitting her wrists like a stoic while taking a bath, and when they found her, afloat in her pink pool, with the yellow eyes of someone possessed and her small body giving off the odor of a mature woman, the paramedics had been so frightened by her tranquility that they had stood mesmerized. But then Mrs. Lisbon lunged in, screaming, and the reality of the room reasserted itself. Blood on the bath mat. Mr. Lisbon's razor sunk in the toilet bowl, marbling the water. The paramedics fetched Cecilia out of the warm water because it quickened the bleeding, and put a tourniquet on her arm. Her wet hair hung down her back, and already her extremities were blue. She didn't say a word, but when they parted her hands, they found the laminated picture of the Virgin Mary she held against her budding chest. That was in June, fish fly season, when each year our town is covered by the flotsam of those ephemeral insects. Rising in clouds from the algae in the polluted lake, they blacken windows, coat cars and street lamps, plaster the municipal docks, and festoon the rigging of sailboats, always in the same brown ubiquity of flying scum. Mrs. Shear, who lives down the street, told us she saw Cecilia the day before she attempted suicide. She was standing by the curb, in the antique wedding dress with the shorn hem she always wore, looking at a thunderbird encased in fish flies. "You better get a broom, honey," Mrs. Shear advised. But Cecilia fixed her with her spiritualist's gaze. "They're dead," she said. "They only live 24 hours. They hatch, they reproduce, and then they croak. They don't even get to eat." And with that, she stuck her hand into the foamy layer of bugs and cleared her initials, CL. We've tried to arrange the photographs chronologically, though the passage of so many years has made it difficult. A few are fuzzy, but revealing nonetheless. Exhibit number 1 shows the Lisbon house shortly before Cecilia's suicide attempt. It was taken by a real estate agent, Ms. Carmina D'Angelo, whom Mr. Lisbon had hired to sell the house his large family had long outgrown. As the snapshot shows, the slate roof had not yet begun to shed its shingles. The porch was still visible above the bushes, and the windows were not yet held together with strips of masking tape. a comfortable suburban home. The upper right second-story window contains a blur that Mrs. Lisbon identified as Mary Lisbon. "She used to tease her hair because she thought it was limp," she said years later, recalling how her daughter had looked for her brief time on Earth. In the photograph, Mary is caught in the act of blow-drying her hair. Her head appears to be on fire, but that is only a trick of the light.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.